Hey, welcome to the Mostly Skateboarding Podcast. I'm your host, Templeton Elliott, and I'm joined this week by Mike Munzenrider and Jason from Frozen and Carbonite to talk about Mike's piece in Quarter Snacks. But first, the Jaeb debut. After much anticipation, we finally got to see what Dylan Jaeb on Quasi looks like. Jason, you live in Quasi country. How do you think Mr. Jaeb fits in with Quasi's brand narrative in his debut?
Well, first off, this whole thing reminds me of two things. One, Ethan Fowler, when he got on stereo, did a really similar image change. Went from like your traditional early 90s uniform of like the cutoff blind jeans, big ass t-shirt to like really stylized, almost like 50s greaser type vibe.
Yep.
And with the button down shirts as well.
Yeah, not far off from Dylan Jaeb's look.
Really not far off stylistically, I gotta tell you.
Probably had Dickies on.
Yep. Yeah, right. Very similar. And second of all, it should really be noted that Dylan's the first Cali dude on Quasi. Hawaii / Cali, whatever. He's spiritually a Cali dude, I think it's safe to say. And that reminded me of when Dylan Jaeb got on Alien, because that was a big deal. Because before that, it was kind of a regional, like Midwest, East Coast kind of thing. Really wasn't that hot in the streets. And when Dylan Jaeb got on, plus, this is almost as important, when Pappalardo and Winning got on, like that day, like I think I was there in Newport when Pappalardo showed up with an Alien deck. After that, Alien was the shit. So it definitely bodes well for Quasi in terms of their brand narrative and kind of growth. I mean, maybe they might get some more traction on the West Coast, that kind of thing, be more of a national brand.
I mean, I don't want to get too far off the actual topic, but 3 or 4 things, I lost count. Mm-hmm. Ethan Fowler was on Toy Machine before, right?
No, he was on television.
Okay.
I think might have been on television or Toy Machine.
Fact checkers yelling at their radios right now. The other thing, totally remember how much, like Alien leveled up. I like Kalis, didn't care much for John Drake, etc. You know, it was kind of whatever. Now I've just lost my train of thought. Oh, this is a leveling up for Quasi. Like, no offense, but they just put on one of the top dudes.
Totally. A total level up. There's no denying it.
What did you think of the video part, though, Templeton, in general?
I liked it. I feel like this was maybe like the most anticipated video part in a very, very long time. And maybe it didn't quite live up to all that, was in my head. I think it was a great part. Got me stoked. I've probably watched it 5 times at this point. But like if you read out the tricks compared to the tricks that were in his honeymoon part, daydream part, quick strike part, they all kind of read about the same. And you could swap tricks in and out from any of those parts, shuffle it around, and they would all kind of fit together. So maybe I wanted a little more of a level up, or I think that this part is maybe I'm asking for too much for a welcome video. Like, traditionally I feel like a welcome video is a little bit shorter. They don't have time to ride the new product, and it's like just an introduction, and we'll see like the full power at a later date. So
well, he definitely wasn't. He definitely wasn't riding the full product because there was some gold foil boards in there for sure.
Definitely saw a lot of primitive product in this one.
Yeah, I feel like in one of the group chats, people were kind of like, "Oh, that was underwhelming. It should have been 3 minutes." Sorry, Dolo and Dan, but I disagree. It's funny. I thought it was kind of like he had a definite concept in mind. Like there's a good mix of night footage and what else? Like there was kind of a simplicity to it, like simple, clean skating. And then if you read that Thrasher interview that came out, he's like, yeah, I was just skating. Like, I totally thought it was kind of a concept part. Like, this is my gear shift into Quasi, like in so many, more definitions of gear than just one, but it wasn't. I enjoyed it. I thought the production was super cool. Good color grading, good filming. good spread of spots. Music was awesome. Sometimes I gripe about skate videos that have parts, or music, I should say, that it's like music people don't actually listen to. And while it was kind of experimental shit, the music's dope in there. The first song's insane. Go ahead.
Music was pretty much what you would expect, like Blue Blorp, what you just said, stuff that people don't really listen to. But yeah, I kind of have the same sentiment as Templeton. I've rewatched his last 3 parts: Honeymoon, the Dickies video, Daydream, which was a primitive video, and Quick Strike, which was a mega video. And like the trick selection is pretty much the same, like, but on the other side, like, he really doesn't do kooky tricks. Like, you know what I mean? He's been pretty tasteful throughout. But like Honeymoon, I think, did have some harder shit, some more like flip in, flip out type shit. Like he did, what did he do? Like a kickflip, backside, tail side, like a whole ledge to manual to flip out off a curb, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he stayed with the front side flips, maybe the best front side flips in the biz.
He's
like
in the top 3. He's in the top 3.
Yeah, he's up there. Like the fakie heel flips, kind of did some of those. That's a kind of an esoteric trick to like focus on.
Probably the best fakie healer out there.
Yeah, you could. That's a fair statement, I think.
I mean, fakie heel.
Did Jake Johnson fakie heel the Banks 9? Or was that nollie heel?
in the Alien video. No. Jake Johnson has. I'm going to be hyperbolic here. He has no documented nollie heels. I know about this. He has a nollie inward heel, but no, he's probably done nollie heels. Nerds out there. Sorry, I read this slapboard about something.
Mike's been on the slapboards heavy. It looks like. Seems like.
Yeah, I'm a little gripey. I was trying to say though that fakie heel, fakie manual on the courthouse stage, like I feel like we got desensitized to his ability to skate that because of the fakie flip one that just went up on Instagram. But like, watch that clip. It is flawless.
It's so dope. Like he kicks the shit out of it. Looks so sick.
Yeah. And then I mean the manual flawless, it pops out. He's cursed by that was too easy looking curse. Yeah, I think that is like kind of a pratfall for him, that he makes all that stuff look so easy. It's so pristine. We are a little bit desensitized to like the madness of it all. And just one more point on the fakie heels, that one down that double set, he's got to pop mad early because of the crack. And I don't think he trusted like whatever the Bondo or fix it option was. And then there's another crack fixed at the bottom and he basically clears it. I mean, one of his sickest things that he does is he just vaults steps and clears them by so far.
Right. Like he's going super fast. And, you know, if you're going at that double set fakie and you got to pop early, you got to pop really early when you're dealing with speeds that he's skating at. So, yeah, very sick to see. He's kind of like a fakie master.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. Like what else did he do? What else did I write down? Oh yeah, he did like a fakie ollie over that. I don't even know what you call it. Like rail and stairs, like that a wooden rail and like some stairs.
Yeah, it's like a bench and then a 4-block.
Yeah, 4-block. There you go. I mean,
he
that
backside
was pretty raw.
flipped that in a previous video part.
Well, what's so sick about that one? And I kept thinking of like a Chris Lambert fakie ollie. Where his feet are just off the board. Like Dylan Jaeb fakie ollies over a bench and then down a big 4. And it's like pop and then perfectly level and floating. And the feet never leave the board. All due respect to Lambert Sr. Because I guess I'm talking about Ronson Lambert too, who's his cousin apparently. But
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure that's true. So no, Burnett had a funny like IG story post because I think he put up a photo of the fakie ollie and he was just like, "You're either dead or in jail." Like if you don't believe in this shit, Tupac reference. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Sorry,
here?
Should I be more verbose with this shit? I don't know.
Oh,
no, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, Templeton mentioned I do live in Quasi land and was pleasantly surprised to see some Richmond footage in here. There was what do you do? Like fakie 360 flip, switch flip out at the old abandoned Richmond Coliseum. No one's invited me to skate there yet. There must be a secret way in because the building is surrounded by razor wire. So I don't know, maybe one day. And
Dylan, next time you're in town, hit Jason, put him in there.
Hit me up. But oh yeah, the line at not Crestar, SunTrust, where he does like a 360 flip up the stairs, which is crazy in of itself, and like a kickflip frontside blindside.
Dude, I thought he was gonna ollie the bench over the thing as like a true quasi Gilbert.
Oh, like in that Gilbert ad. That's pretty
I don't know the
legendary.
layout. I don't know the layout of that spot, so I don't know if that was possible. But I'm like, damn, is he really?
He was kind of not kind of. He was going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
To do that.
Yeah, I love seeing Dylan on the East Coast. Dylan skating a lot of DC stuff, and then a couple of Richmond things, and just anywhere USA. I guess I think he looks good in the crust.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in his other parts, he has a whole bunch of Flushing Meadow footage.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. What
like a
Figgy 5-0 Figgy flip out?
Yeah, something like that, or switch nose grind flip out, something like that. But yeah, I guess they went out there one day and he just like destroyed it. I don't recall any other Midtown or New York spots in there, but
he could probably do some shit at Pyramid Ledge.
Oh yeah, dude,
would be pretty good.
That's a tough one. That's been just shredded to pieces. Like what trick would Dylan Jaeb do at Pyramid Ledges?
Flip in, flip out. I mean, oh god, it happens like really fast in that part. The opening back tail kickflip is fucking nuts, dude.
Right, like he went farther than I would go if I tried to kickflip off that ledge, off of 4 wheels.
Right. Like I don't want to go that fast and kickflip off that ledge necessarily right now while I'm podcasting. I might, maybe just saying I could do better warmed up, but that was pretty good.
It was amazing, and I feel like everything in here is pretty incredible, and it goes by kind of pretty fast.
Yeah,
I thought. I don't know. I thought it was spaced out pretty good. Like you had some like Americana kind of spacing out the tricks and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about the edit. We got Jacob Palumbo on the premiere timeline with some art direction help from the Quasi crew. How did he do?
I think it was pretty dope. Like they did that thing where they go to like the image of planet Earth and starts like the second part. I thought it was over at that point. I was like, what? It's like a 7-minute video, but yeah, then they kick it. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I really
like that too. Yep. Okay.
Cool. Very on brand for Quasi.
I do think that with what's Hard Reset, they hit the hard reset and like the videos are, again, like I said on the previous pod, a little bit more watchable. And this was like a nice blend of, I mean, we touched on the music. I do think it's listenable music, but also like, oh, sorry, Julius Randle just threw the ball away. We're also podcasting while I watch Timberwolves in the playoffs. It's watchable. The music is a little crazy, but that edit is really clean, but also on brand. What else? Yeah, good B-roll. The Earth shot was really sick. It made me think of the Artemis mission for whatever that's worth. I'm like, damn, they got the astronauts to get clips for Dylan Jaeb.
I wondered if it was from what's that Kubrick movie? 2001. Yeah. I wondered if that's what it was from. It gave me those kind of vibes.
Yeah, I mean, it was if there's supposed to be a legacy of kind of Alien into Quasi, this video with just, I don't know, kind of the brevity of the weird clips made it work really well, in my opinion. Where I don't know, whereas they didn't quite hit it, but I don't know if anybody.
There weren't a lot of lines.
I expected the second half of the video to be a bunch of lines, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of strictly bangers for this one. I'm not mad at it. Somebody else pointed out there's no nollie tricks either.
Well, but he doesn't really do nollie tricks anyway. If you look at his other parts, he does do like nollie backside flip manual sometimes. That is true,
right?
That's kind of like a weird gripe.
I don't know that it was a gripe, more just like a fact being pointed out. But it's kind of an interesting thing to think about because he's so good at skating switch. And
I mean, on that
and fakie.
On that note, watch a Louis Lopez part and count the switch tricks, or even nollie. It's kind of incredible how good these skaters can be, and you're like, oh wow, they're kind of one directional, unidirectional, or whatever you want to say.
I mean, honestly, you don't need it. If you got it like that, you don't need it.
I mean, you don't have.
I mean, he's probably at the point where he can like pick and choose, you know,
right,
and do what he thinks looks cool.
Well, and I'm thinking of like a 1996, 97 video part where the guy almost like exclusively skates switch, and it's just like the jankiest switch frontside nose grinds,
right,
pretty shitty, and you're like, all right, this actually sucks. That's like the lowest tier Planet Earth guy 40-second video part. You know what I mean? I'm not naming names. It's theoretical still. I don't have anyone in particular in mind, but
no, I can
you
see
guys
it.
knew what I was talking about.
Yeah. That I lived through that era. It was good times. But in terms of like, you know, doing what he thinks looks cool and everything, in the Thrasher interview, he references "Looks Okay to Me," that like Bobby Worst and Yalte part, which is a modern classic in my opinion. Sour Dudes, and Mark Johnson, who he says is his favorite skater of all time. So because he's got good taste. I mean, shit, you know.
Yeah, that's a great mood board to work from for sure.
Seriously.
Well, and I think this point kind of speaks to that. Burnett said, I want to get the quote right, but it was one of his last questions. He's like, he basically asked, did people get the wrong idea about you because like all your early footage was, quote, skating a sterile looking skate park? And shit, I'll cop to definitely thinking that like that he was kind of boring and kind of one dimensional. I've definitely said something to the effect on the podcast before. You know, the whole complex was this kid who's lived in Hawaii. Now he's in San Diego and he's 15 or whatever and better at skateboarding than I've ever been. His hair is perfect, still got volume, you know, middle-aged man gripes. But, you know, it's like you definitely didn't have much of an idea of what the dude was about based on his skating. And I don't know. I picked up the Thrasher magazine with the interview today and read it, and I'm glad I did because he's like, yeah, got a lot more depth. Seems cool.
Yeah,
thoughtful.
good read for sure. Because I didn't know that much about Dylan Jaeb before the interview. Only his skating, really.
Did he talk about like growing up in Hawaii and moved to San Diego and all that shit?
Not a lot of background. It was
Okay.
Yeah. Subscribers are still waiting on their magazine, Thrasher magazine. Jason's in the dark. I tried to get everybody up to speed by sending iPhone pictures of the magazine interview. I'm a subscriber as of 3 hours ago. Again, I'm a new
Whoa,
returning subscriber. I've been making a push because I subscribe to a number of magazines. I've just been making a push, like read something daily and you'll be a lot happier. And it's actually been really wonderful to do. So I think we haven't been burying the lead, but we have talked about bangers and fakie tricks. And yet we haven't talked about that fakie flip at Rincon on the cover of the Thrasher magazine. I think Rincon, I don't know. I took Spanish in high school and college. Like Rincon?
I call it Rincon as a ugly American white dude.
I think that's that's gringo shit. That's gringo.
Yeah.
Rincon.
Yeah, so ending the part with a fakie flip at another heritage banger spot. You know, previously he fakie flipped Wallenberg, and then here he is again at Rincon. What'd you think, Jason?
That's pretty crazy. Doing something straight on like that. He was kind of at an angle, which I guess is what you got to do if you're doing something that crazy. But
carving,
however you got to do it. But who else did stuff over that? Like, trying to remember. Did John Ali like frontside flip it way back when?
Probably Chris Cole did something. It's very zero spot.
That sounds about right. But
Steve Barra had the Costin video part back lip down the rail that may or may not be there to Broken Tail.
Yeah, he did. Well, another thing that's interesting about this trick on video is throughout the part you can kind of see the evolution. Like he starts off kind of like, you know, regular, you know, outfit, same old hair that he had forever. Eventually he starts wearing like button downs and shit. By the ender, he's full like buzz cut with a white dress shirt. He's completed his transformation. I thought that was pretty dope to follow.
Yeah, it's a sick look.
Yeah,
I love skating in a button up.
It's timeless, you know.
Really dude, sorry, Jason. Sorry.
No, I'm done.
On Twitter, I was like, we need our top 10 all button-down team, white button-down team. And nobody mentioned you, Templeton.
I was more like an Oxford button-down kind of guy.
Can an Oxford not be white? Come on.
I mean, I'm like classic Oxford, like the blue.
Okay.
But, I mean, if we're talking white button-down, number one on that list got to be Dylan Reeder, right?
Yeah. Because he's wearing like a dress. I don't know. There's a large history for the white button-down. Large.
Who else is on the list?
I'm thinking Mark Appleyard. I don't know
Ethan
why.
Fowler. Is on there. Visual Sound came up. The entire Baker 2G cast.
Yep. I mean, classic look. Kids, go to the thrift store, get yourself a white button up, ruin it out in the streets.
I will
Your
say,
footage will thank you.
I theorized about this. Like, that fakie flip is about as scary as it gets. For like, I'm going to jump down something and, you know, I don't have to go 1,000,000 miles per hour, but just like the fail to qualify factor is so high where, I don't know, we've maybe all tried to fakie flip off a curb and just lost our balance. And I don't know, you know, if you don't end up on your right hip, in my case, like it can just get really hairy really fast. With that bar, that's nuts. And he carved in, which I think is kind of a mental thing, if nothing else. But
I think he went straight into it. I think he had wood and went straight for it. Having watched the video part like 8 times at this point, there was
just thinking like, clues. Get in your head, lean a little bit too much on your front heel, you know, your fakie popping heel, and just stick, and then, you know, fall back, hit the bar, flip a couple times, break your neck. Like,
yeah,
seems terrible.
Or with it, like miss the pop and your board just shoots off the end and then into the rail, flip over it, hit your head. You know, there's so many ways you could get fucked up trying to fakie flip the bar at Rincon.
I hadn't even thought about missing the pop, dude. That's twisted, Templeton. Come on.
Sorry, that's my most common fakie flip off something issue. But I don't think that's a problem for Dylan Jaeb, a fakie master.
I mean, he did do it down Wallenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could do it down Wallenberg, that's a big confidence builder.
For sure.
I would say so.
So online to celebrate Dylan's new board, Quasi, you know, shared the boards, and then they shared the rider preference sheet that listed all the shapes and sizes offered by Quasi, and then next to it had the names of who rides what, which I found super interesting. Jason, I know you found it interesting as well. What stuck out to you on the rider preference sheet?
This was super interesting. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm looking at it right now. Like, pleasantly surprised to see that most people were in the 8.25 range, which is what I like to skate. Jake Johnson's 8.5, which is not that surprising. He's pretty tall. I didn't look at the wheelbase or length because I knew if I did, I would become one of those wheelbase guys and like go insane.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss.
Exactly. Yeah, yes, exactly. But this, from a skate nerd perspective, this sheet was pretty interesting for sure.
I was at the shop today. Oh, real quick. I was at the shop today, stood on the Dylan Jaeb board because I was curious. And it comes packaged with the setup. Or it's not a setup, but with the deck as well. Templeton, you were saying.
I found it interesting. It's got the shortest wheelbase of anything offered by Quasi, 13.875 inches, 8.25 inches wide, and it's a twin nose, 7 inches on both sides, which is the longest of anything offered by Quasi. So that's maybe kind of the secret sauce to how Dylan Jaeb does what Dylan Jaeb does.
So much fakie because his nose is the nose and the tail is the nose, and they're both huge.
Right.
The really short wheelbase is wild because that changes how the board feels a lot.
I wonder if that's a black box holdover, because I remember I had a friend who worked at Black Box, and had a zero board and it had a short wheelbase, and I hated it. But maybe he got used to it and learned to love it.
From the interview, he talks about being a super grom going on a zero tour at age like 13-ish. I do wonder if he was a little bit older and misremembered, but maybe I should just trust the interview subject. But a month-long zero tour in the van made him rethink if he wanted to skate for a living at all, which is like
shit.
It's a pretty candid admission, and it's funny because he references Frankie Villani like hurting his elbow and subsequently quitting zero. And I think they rolled through Minneapolis at the Familia Park on that demo. I wasn't there. I was busy with something else, but I just remember hearing stories of like just kind of how like weirdly dramatic the demo was with Villani like hiding out and being mad at Chief.
That's good. Palace intrigue. Palace needs to make a video called Intrigue. Just
damn, I mean, they won't know what it is, but it's like such a slam dunk. They only play cricket and football over there.
I'm sure they know about Palace Intrigue over there.
Well, I was saying the slam dunk. They wouldn't understand that.
Oh, right.
Phraseology.
Yeah,
super dumb joke.
Went over my head as well.
Sorry, it's pretty bad over here tonight as I watch the Timberwolves. One of the funny things is he was like, "Yeah, I quit Primitive, and I don't know. I called P-Rod. It was chill. Barely ever talked to P-Rod. Was worse. I think it was Alan Hannon who he had to, call up and actually quit to because, the guy who makes the Primitive videos was the actual correspondence person there. And yeah, that just was interesting because, it's P-Rod's company, but he talked about how big of an operation it is over there. I think kind of pointedly said like, yeah, there's a lot of people who work there who don't even skate. Like definitely some veiled shade, thinly or not. Yeah. And I don't know. He kind of said a lot of things without saying much, but the subtext was interesting just in terms of how I feel like he definitely got pigeonholed, in so much as Mike Burnett asked him about how he pigeonholed himself and how he's trying to break out. And I think that's very cool for, I don't know how old he is. I guess I shouldn't have expected it to come up in the interview straight up. Could probably Google it right now. Hold on. What is he, 23? 22. I mean, he's really good. He's 22 years old. Let's get like 15 years of this shit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. In that interview, I thought it was really interesting. He was talking about how he moved up to LA and he's living with Toby Ryan and a bunch of other rippers who are about around his same age. And I was just like, this is so good for everyone involved, including us, the skateboard fan public. Because I think all those dudes around each other, pushing each other, starting companies, doing stuff together, I think is only going to elevate skateboarding and give us cool videos to watch, basically. So stoked for that. There's still plenty more show left.
Yeah. The double flip, fakie double flip manual. I thought it was just like the angle. Like I didn't think it was double at first, but then I saw it on.
Yeah. Sorry.
But then I saw it on Twitter. I was like, maybe that's double. And I was like, yeah, it's double.
I watched it live first watch and was just like, that is stupid hard. Like to pop, because it's, it's like a proper bench height thing. And I can only assume you got to like really, really pop hard a fakie double flip. Like it just throws the physics off to flip that hard. Yeah. That was cool.
Low key might be one of the hardest tricks in the day.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few low key bangers in this part that kind of get overlooked. Again, because he's so smooth with it.
Yeah, he is cursed by making it too easy. Frontside flip, fakie manual at what I can only imagine is like a Swedish or Finnish parking garage, like underground garage. He's good. He's a very tasteful manualer.
Incredibly tasteful.
Yeah, manuals are only getting worse by and large in aggregate, but Dylan Jaeb is keeping them from really plummeting below like into full disapproval zone.
Yeah, really, he's kind of practices some restraint, which is kind of what taste is all about.
Dude rips.
Indeed. We love talking about brand narratives on this show. So Quarter Snacks enlisted our very own Mike Munzenrider to examine the brand narratives and life cycles of some brands bouncing back and forth between life and death. Mike, how did this piece come about?
Yeah, so I definitely got I got to write the headline and got brand narratives on there very much on purpose.
There you go.
To advance the podcast brand narrative for sure. How did it come about? It was pitched by Snackman, my editor, Costa over at Quarter Snacks. Not pitched. I mean, he was like, "Do you want to write this story?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Definitely tied to Louis Barletta getting Enjoy back, or however much he owns the rights compared to the distribution. I didn't actually suss that out that hard, but yeah, it was just like Enjoy's back. We definitely talked about it on the podcast where we're like, okay, Enjoy's back. That's cool for Barletta. Like, what do we think about this? Like, is it actually good? And I feel like a lot of people were wondering that. And yeah, that's the basic genesis of the thing.
Did you come to any conclusions on that subject? Is it good that Enjoy's back?
Writing the piece, I tried to kind of keep my own thoughts out of it and talk to people just to like construct kind of why people do these things more so than whether it's good or not. I don't know. I think Enjoy ran its course in an organic way. Barletta says in the piece that it got stolen from him. They were doing great when it kind of like got to a position where he was forced to quit because he probably hated what was going on there. But no, there's a life cycle for brands. There's probably a 10-year window for a lot of them. Your favorite brand or not, and then the ones that surpass that. And we've fully talked about this on here before. Like the ones that make it further than that are special. Everything else has a natural life cycle. Enjoy could probably be done, and we'd have the good feeling about Bag of Suck, and I mean it's basically Bag of Suck, which is tough to say, but if I'm not in my reporter journalist mindset, like Bag of Suck was awesome, and that's what everybody remembers. Yeah,
like for me, I always was frustrated with the ads because I'd rather see some skating than dudes partying, but the ads are iconic. Part of
Enjoy wasn't really in my wheelhouse, but I thought the ads were funny because they were kind of reminiscent of like the old World Industries ads that were just all text. But Enjoy. I don't know, like the shop guy you interviewed. I'm from home.
Yeah,
the shop. Where was that?
Noah Holzman.
Louisville.
Yep, you corrected yourself. Nice.
Yeah. You just gotta say like Lou. But he said like if people aren't asking it, why bother? I thought that was so funny. It was like who is really are like kids who grew up worshiping Bag of Suck, like clamoring for Enjoy decks. I don't know.
Well, it was like okay, I bought a small run of the boards and I sold a couple. I've still got most of them. Did every 35-year-old in Louisville, who I'm paraphrasing and punching up the quote accidentally, but did every 35-year-old in Louisville who wanted one hang an Enjoy board on his wall, and now it's done? I think that's a real concern. In terms
definitely.
of like, what is the viability of bringing these things back? Because I think if nothing else, everybody's attention span is shorter than it's ever been. A brand takes a 3-year hiatus. Sure, a bunch of people never knew that it went away, but then there's the people that are buying skateboards on a regular basis. So
I think a lot of times the cries for something to come back are louder than the money in their pockets. Like a lot of people are like, oh, bring Enjoy back. Oh, this Enjoy board's cool, but let me buy this limousine board. I think a lot of times, when the rubber meets the road, it's like people would rather get with something that's new and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, for example, Andy Howell, shout out Andy Howell, and I think Sidewalk Distribution, which is also the distribution that distributes Enjoy. They recently came out with some Underworld Element decks. And if anybody like me, I'm like the fucking dead center target market for an Underworld Element deck, whether for my wall or whatever. But like the art was kind of weird. Like it wasn't actual graphics. It was kind of like just some like some art that was in ads and logos and stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't actual graphics, so it just seemed kind of whacked. I wasn't really psyched on it. And despite how much I love, Skypager and the whole brand.
I remember seeing those and thinking they were especially weird because it was like not clip art, Underworld element, but it was like
I know
generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Underworld Element in its heyday was like cutting edge street culture, and it's like
100%.
Andy Howell was out there like really doing that shit, and a Skypager deck is just like, I don't know, like an old cover version of what was cool 30 years ago.
Yeah, some of the like the New Deal boards that they've been coming out with are pretty dope. They're kind of like the original graphics. Like there's a John Montesi deck, Alien deck, and stuff. But there seems to be two ways to do these reboots. There's like New Deal, like I just mentioned, which is pretty much just reissues for like the old skate nerd like wall market. Like I guess some people are skating these, but I don't know. Then there's Enjoy, which is actually trying to have like a team and operate like a real skate brand.
Well, not to like
pretty tough.
Not to push back too hard on that, but I only ever got like Louis Barletta on Instagram DMs, and because he was like, he probably just wanted to document the conversation. He was kind of like confoundingly vague about like, what is it going to be? And he's like, well, it's going to be an opportunity to do new things and old things, and really give kids an opportunity to be pro. And okay, that's fine. Appreciate the time, but there was kind of like I don't know. It was like such a triumphal comeback, especially on Instagram, where everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, dude, we're enjoying this, enjoy comeback," and you just kind of didn't have answers, and it's fine if you don't have a plan, but I think that's what plagues these brands. I almost want to invent a new category. There's brands, and then you've got zombie brands, and we know what those are, but then there's like these brands that are in limbo, where it's like, okay, rights holders, probably the rightful people own the rights to these things, but like, what are you doing with it, and how can you make it something that matters again? Because I did ask, and it had no place in the piece. Like, hey, you putting Caswell Berry back on Enjoy? And he's like, no, he's staying on Jacuzzi. And he kind of quipped how like, yeah, we told Caswell he's still on Jacuzzi. And he was like, okay, dude, whatever. But what does Enjoy, how does Enjoy matter? What does Enjoy mean if it's all of a sudden a slate of new dudes from around the country and there's not a single person from San Jose? Does Louis Barletta put himself back on Enjoy? Like, you gotta make these things have meaning.
I think that's the whole thing. It's got to have meaning, because really these boards are all pretty much the same. Maybe Dylan Jaeb's got a 7-inch nose and tail on his thing, but like, they're all basically the same. So
let's not get it twisted. Like that wheelbase is fucked up.
It is. Yeah. I mean, that's like an actual real difference, but like for the most part, all these boards are the same. So the story is what we're buying. So if the Enjoy story changes, I mean, I guess it's a new chapter. We're gonna, beat this book metaphor to death. It's a new chapter, but it's like it's a new chapter from a different book. It seems like, if Caswell Berry's not on Enjoy.
Well, when you bring that up, that makes me think of Stereo. I spoke to Chris Dune Pastris.
Yeah, Dune seemed like he was a pretty cool guy from the interview. Yeah,
he was a good interview. I guess I only knew this obliquely, that like he's kind of been a little bit much on social media as of late. So some people had been like, "Hey, like what's up with your dealings with Dune?" But he was a very good interview, super generous, thoughtful. What's interesting though, as I was like looking at anything, Stereo Skateboards official, they on their website is just like 1992 to 2026, going strong, nothing in the middle, no interregnum to speak of. And it's like, is Enjoy going to treat it the same way? 1999 or whatever, 2026, no blip, no pause in the in the
Stereo, like he's still doing it, I guess, like still running the jazz imagery.
Same old jazz.
They actually, I guess they have a team like that. That girl Brett and Yoshi Tenenbaum's a killer. Probably should be bigger in the industry than he is, but
yeah.
One could say Yoshi's maybe held back by being on stereo.
Yeah.
Maybe he, doesn't have a place somewhere else, but if stereo didn't exist, some other brand that's, that Yoshi could have a part in making as far as the brand narrative goes, he could be a bigger deal. But now it's like, oh, it's like he's on stereo. That's weird. Like stereo is weird. I'm going to just watch the limousine video. Like it just is. I don't think it does him any favors to be on, I hate to say it, like a has-been brand,
No, the kids aren't into stereo.
Do the kids know stereo exists?
Yeah, the kids probably don't. I don't recall seeing the boards on my shop wall for a while, probably ever. But
okay, so it's funny because skateboard brands can be so regional in terms of their popularity and even who carries them. I'm talking to Snackman Costa just about the story, and he's like, surprised you didn't bring up, stereo being huge with penny boards. And it's like, okay, damn, I didn't recall that. I didn't recall that. I skated so Clint Peterson, who's from Stillwater, Minnesota, like a small town, a semi-suburb, 30 minutes from St. Paul. He was one of the best fucking dude. He's top 5, easy. Top 5 Twin Cities skater. I'm thinking of a lot of obscure guys when I make that ranking. Clint was so fucking good, and he was on Consolidated for a while, and then Stereo came back, and he was one of their main dudes, and they turned him pro. And they had super flat boards that were basically a continuation of Girl decks. Girl fucked up their shapes and moved to China. So it was I skated a shitload of stereo boards, and they were legitimately I thought a very successful comeback. But just the experience of the brand's popularity was probably regional. I had a different experience than other people in other places, and based on who I knew. So I don't know, that plays into it all too, I guess, is the point there.
With the brand narrative thing, for a while, I think I saw how much it would, I forgot where I saw this, but I saw how much it would be to buy the rights to 101.
Oh shit.
Then I was like, dude, I'm going to do it, dude. I'm going to take out a home equity loan.
How much was it?
Equity. It was low 6 figures.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm going to take out a home equity loan. I'm going to fucking reboot 101. Then I was like, dude, even in this stupid fantasy scenario, even if you rebooted 101 and got some rippers, it's not the same, dude. What made 101 cool was Nodis's art direction, the Mark McKee graphics, World, LA, Costin being fucking elite. You know what I mean? So it's just what Templeton said before. If it doesn't have the same brand narrative, if it's just out there with no context, it's not even really the same brand.
Right. People would be 101 based out of Richmond. What the fuck? I'm not going to buy that's some fucking dude in Richmond who sounds like he's from New York. This
yo. All due respect to everyone on this podcast and elsewhere, but that sounds like if you put Mike York on Blueprint.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. Blueprint especially had such a strong brand narrative of we're in the UK, yeah. We thrive on cold winters, and then Mike York, who lives in LA, that just doesn't work. And it's weird. It's so weird that the people who bought that IP didn't even understand that. That's really confounding. You were going to say, Jason, sorry.
Oh, it's almost with a bunch of these brands, if you get in bed with these corporate, what am I trying to say? Corporate equity firm. Is that the right thing?
Private equity.
Yeah, private equity firm. Yeah, these corporate people. It's anything can happen. All bets are off.
So
you
that
know what I mean?
Bizarro,
you lose most control, if not all control.
That Bizarro Blueprint was Woodchuck Laminates, which was a Canadian manufacturer, and I think now they're US based. I don't know. These things are murky as hell.
That's still around, Blueprint. Well, you said they sponsor Sky Brown.
Okay, so this is
Right.
really confusing, and now I got to fire up my computer notes again because I got to get the name of her actual sponsor as far as her
Tanabata.
Instagram goes.
Tanabata.
Tanabata, which is, as far as I can tell, a very much Japanese brand. I think she's Japanese English by heritage, but she also has a guest board as the only quote unquote pro on Blueprint. I was working off of Rolling Thunder. It's not Rolling Thunder distribution, but shorthand Rolling Thunder sells Blueprint now, and I have a sales email from them. And you wouldn't. It doesn't say that it's a pro, like a guest pro model, guest underlined. It's just like Sky Brown Pro Models and Completes now available, and it's like, all right, what? It was a real editing nightmare because you go on Sky Brown's Instagram and she's like, writes for Tanabata, which is just bizarre if she has 2 pro models on 2 brands.
That's some Olympic athlete type shit. Like
2-time
like
bronze.
She's like the new Javante Turner or something.
All right, and that's our show for this week.
All right, should we? All right, let's not be too cool for school. Javante had ads for 2 shoe sponsors in one issue of Slap or Thrasher. What was it?
The Thrasher.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I was 12. I had no idea that Javante was balling like that.
It was a time. It was a time.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you were mentioning, Jason, is like the private equity firms kind of fucking things up. But you know, if you look at these stories, it's just the distributions, you know, like Louis Barletta lost in Joy to Dwindle.
Well,
Blueprint.
that was it. Dwindle was bought.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah.
Bought by a larger non-skate
But
entity.
Dan McGee lost Blueprint to Phase 7 distribution, which was just like a run-of-the-mill skate distribution. Creature slipped out of Russ Pope's hands from NHS. You know, we're like, no, we don't want to pay you more, and he left and took the team with him. Essentially,
he never owned it. He never owned it. Sorry,
right?
But
so I think
guess
that's the issue. It's like
that's a good point.
The kind of brains behind these brands don't necessarily own them.
Yes. Sorry, you're the reporter guy, and the facts was ringing in my ears. But oftentimes these people don't, like, the creative geniuses behind shit don't own the brands, don't even have equity probably, which I think is kind of a shitty aspect of all of this because it's all people, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes the brand is the people. That's what we keep kind of coming back to. And as we kind of bring this in for a landing, I thought it was interesting that you spoke to some folks at Deluxe, and Deluxe, as far as I can remember, hasn't joined in on the reboot train, and they've got a pretty interesting decision tree on do or do not resuscitate. Mike, you want to tell us about that?
I mean, the short answer is that they're never going to bring back. I shouldn't put words into Jahon Du's mouth, who is head of marketing at Deluxe, but they basically want to have skaters backing and skater energy, skaters in the street energy behind anything that they're going to do. So, they're not going to bring back Rasa Libre because, they won't have people who are invested in it and giving ideas and driving ideas. I mean, that's really the shorthand, but Jahon also talked about just how confusing it can be. I don't know. I've talked about how silly I think the Pop War reissue was. That was a handful of boards out of Sidewalk, but all of a sudden you get a catalog and you get the opportunity to buy some Pop War boards, and you're like, okay, is this a real thing? Is this ongoing? I think. For shops where it's like we have like a buyer and one other guy who works here, it's confusing, and so they don't want to confuse people. And then any other planks, we said it was a 4-point plan, but it's just like you need people that back it, you need people to drive the creative ideas of it, and then you don't want to confuse anything. Shops have finite money. You also have to remember that, you can't just introduce a new brand as a distributor and expect it not to eat into a shop's buy of your other brands. They have finite money. And yeah, is it good for business? Because I think I don't know. In my opinion, as non-reporter guy, like I'm not sure it's good for business at Sidewalk for Enjoy to be back because, like, okay, you got that, but then there's Jacuzzi too. So what's
Yeah, it
Jacuzzi?
can't be good for Jacuzzi.
Well, and Jacuzzi's just, it's a sister brand to Enjoy, as Louis Barletta told me in another thing that didn't fit in the story. And it's okay. I don't know. Non-reporter Mike thinks the Enjoy thing is just kind of like, all right, but now what? There's mixed feelings about Enjoy coming back because it's like, that's awesome. It's better off that it's not like being, Enjoy's not being slapped on rollerblades, as Barletta even put in his Instagram post about getting the rights back. But it's like, okay, it's good it's not rollerblades, but does it need to be on skateboard still? That's what I wonder as the non-reporter.
Yeah, I too wonder. Actually, I don't. It doesn't need to be on skateboards. I'd be stoked not to. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm still trying to, be the impartial journalist. I ask the question, but you're able to, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to be impartial on this one. Yeah, would be stoked to not ever see an Enjoy board again. God,
wow.
That was kind of harsh. Sorry, everybody.
No, that was awesome.
I said what I said. Which brings us to the part of our show where we talk about what we're stoked on. Jason, what are you stoked on this week?
Stoked on Venture Trucks out of San Francisco, California. Stoked on something that I never thought would happen, but it happened. Steve Rocco was a guest on the 9 Club, a rival podcast of ours, along with Mike Lelli. Y'all know me. I love any type of World Industries lore, so that was amazing. Patrick from the Mostly Skateboarding podcast hooked up a Boss HM2 heavy metal pedal, guitar pedal, which is super dope. Been fucking around with that. And kind of late on this one, but stoked on a part from Jose Cantillana from Censorship Skateboards, introducing a web edit, like some really good Euro tech in there for sure. Mike, what are you stoked on this week?
I'm stoked on kind of related to what I was talking about earlier about reading magazines. A New Yorker story by Lauren Collins about letters in bottles. People write a letter, put it in a bottle, stop it up and throw it in the ocean. Kind of a weirdly wonderful story that relates to skating. I know everything nowadays relates to skating, but going out and searching for bottles on a beach, I think really does relate to skating because like maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't. You're really psyched when it does. It's a great story. Check it out. It's linked in the show notes, linked already in the R notes, Templeton. I'm doing my job, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm also stoked on walking to the gas station by my house in the evening to buy candy. I did that last night. Needed some Twix. Shout out Twix. Great candy bar.
Send us a box. Send us a box.
Yeah, dude. Mars. What up?
Mars Corporation.
Are they Mars? Is that even Mars? Damn, dude. I bet there's a candy podcast and they know all the distros.
Yeah.
And they're what's fucked up is that a lot of candy companies, because of like various economic pressures and distribution pressures, are using we're using chocolate like substances in our candy.
No, because chocolate is so expensive.
Man, the world we live in is kind of not even kind of like it's pretty whack.
Real quick, like a chocolate, your average candy bar, it takes like an insane amount of water to make it, like 1,000 gallons or something.
All right, data centers and my Twix, dude. Fucking burn it down. It's over. Templeton, what are you stoked on this week?
Before this conversation, I was stoked on a quick trip to LA that I made with my wife last weekend. That's why there wasn't a show last week. Did a lot of looking at art, which I love to do, a little bit of skateboarding, and went to Patrick's birthday party, which was fun. So highly recommend getting out of town for a long weekend. That's it for our show this week. Be sure to check out mostlyskateboarding.net for links to things that we talked about and other show notes. Until next time, you can keep up with us all week online. Mike, where can the people find you?
I'm doing Twitter and Instagram at Munzenrider. Jason, where can the people find you?
On the Twitter at Carbonite1994, on Instagram, sometimes, maybe at Frozen Carbonite, and writing stuff for quarterstacks.com. Working on something for third quarter. third quarter probably. So keep an eye out. Templeton, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mostly Skateboarding, and you can find the show on YouTube at Mostly Skateboarding. Mike, I got a bonus question for you about your article. What is there any interesting tidbit that got left on the cutting room floor that you can share with us now?
Shoot, let's think. Dan Maggie listens to the podcast and was
all right.
Ready with zombie brands as a phrase. I don't know if we can credit ourselves with that or not. Shoot, man. Oh, yeah. A great one. Chris Pastras started Stereo Skateboards at age 19, and he's now 53, still doing it.
Damn. Starting a brand at 19. That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I did ask, like, do you think it's easier for young people to do it? Like, start a brand? And he said, yes, because you have nothing. So, you're just able to do shit, which I thought was interesting. Does that make sense? Should I expand on that? Or
it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. And I don't know. I thought he was a good example of, like, he's just doing it. And, you wonder why people want to resurrect these brands, want to still reissue New Deal in the case of Steve Douglas. People are, it's part of their identity. And yeah, Pastras had good quotes just to that effect of, like, Stereo let me leave an imprint on skateboarding that I wasn't going to do with my ability to skateboard, and that was cool. So the 19 to 53 shit is pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, well, see you guys next week.
Later.
I was thinking about it, like, just now, all those brands that the distro actually owned them, Blueprint, Creature, whatever. And I'm like, oh, Deluxe didn't own Stereo? Like, Dune was able to just, start
keep it rolling, because I can talk about that. And this is probably it's an equally interesting fact of the age spread. Pastras kind of said, I didn't dig too deep back into it, but he was like, in that era, the 90s, a lot of distributions, just a lot of, like, company IP wasn't trademarked that hard. And so as far as I could tell, again, I'm doing a phone interview, and you kind of got to keep it moving. As far as I could tell, Stereo was never trademarked. And then Dune said that he went back after it ended and got the trademarks, and said something to the effect of it costing him like $12,000 to nail it all down. One of the reasons that Stereo was able to come back so fast was that he owned the trademarks, like, already, and it was ready to go.
Boom. There we go.
And if you want, bonus story. It didn't even get mentioned in the story that I actually wrote. Habitat. Talked to Joe Castrucci, and it never made it in. When there was that blip in the Habitat alien life cycle, their distro went under. Distro owned Habitat. It was a week, Castrucci said, where the team was still on board, so there was, like, good motivation to just handle the trademark issues. He did it in a week. There was a bit of a lull, a couple of months, where there were no boards being made, but then he went to Tumyeto, which was, like, their bounce back distro, and he came back, and he was just like, yeah, I got the trademarks. I had a team. I was good to go. So that was interesting.
Yeah, because they go to the new Alien distribution or something, like, after that. That was probably after that.
They bounced all kinds of random places, because at one time they were distributed by Official Hats, if you remember them.